Hello everyone, welcome to Insight. I'm your host John Moore and I trust you had a nice weekend. It's about to get better in the weekend. Tonight we are focusing on Kiambu County and for one reason. There's a brewing storm where the county government wants to buy 72 cars at a cost of 290 million Kenya shillings for the county coordinators. But one side of the MCAs feels that is totally wrong because the roads and that other social amenities are not well done. In studio to discuss this debate is Ngewa Ward MCA, Karungu Adangwa, and Nyanduma Ward MCA, Mburu Gitiha. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
First to start off, Mburu, why is the issue of cars such a big storm in Kiambu County?
I don't think the issue of cars should be a big storm. Some of the members have made it to be so, and they have agitated to the public that it should be so as the politicians think. You know, Kenyan politics go with the issue of what the politicians are saying. So if this thing was not brought to the magnitude that it has been brought, it shouldn't be a big issue because there is money set for each department. There is money set for health, for agriculture, for roads, and for any other department, cooperatives, and mention them all. So it should be a big issue.
But they say there are no roads for those vehicles to pass on, to drive on.
I wouldn't argue like that, that you need roads first so that you have vehicles to use the roads. If there were no vehicles, then we wouldn't require even the roads. I think even most of the members have vehicles. The people who construct roads and decide where certain roads should pass or where they should put tarmac, usually do a data analysis to see if a certain road is using a number of vehicles so that they can maybe decide whether to expand that road or to construct a tarmac or a gravel road.
So you have been very vocal on this issue. What is the main reason as to why you're very opposed to this idea of buying?
You see, in one point or in one word, it's lack of priorities.
Yes.
Because when you talk about buying the 72 vehicles for Kiambu County, and this is just for one department.
Yes.
In Kiambu, we have about 10 departments. So if you buy 72 vehicles for just one department, just so you know that you're not doing justice even to the others. And when we talk about buying all these vehicles, the question is why now? You said something very good there, that we don't have roads. Of course we do not have roads. And that's why I'm standing up against whoever is supporting that we buy vehicles instead of making roads. And the reason why is we had to get some money from the roads department to buy these vehicles. Actually, that's why there's a question between roads or vehicles. Because if there was enough money for vehicles and there was enough money for roads, I couldn't have any problem. But the issue here, we had to get some money from the roads department to buy these vehicles. And who are driving these vehicles? If you listen to the argument from those who are supporting these vehicles, they're saying this car will be one ward, one vehicle, which is a Land Rover. And it is going to be used for veterinary services. It's going to be used by fire extinguishers or fire brigade. It's going to be used for security. Yet you understand that security is not that evolved. If you have to empower the security department, you give them facilities or you give them resources. Yes. So they are just lying to Mwananchi that these vehicles are going to be used for all those things. And if you look even at the supplementary budget that we passed, it was for 221 million for these 72 vehicles. If it, for sure it was to be used for agriculture, veterinary, and extension services, then why do we have even another vote? And I don't think even members know that. For agriculture, which we passed with 15 million for agriculture. So why do we need those vehicles then? So what I'm trying to say here is that it is the Kiambu executive and those who really passed this motion, this bill, they do not really have priorities right for Kiambu County. Yes.
I think to answer that, it's very bad for one to be confused. Because if you are confused, you dwell your mind on one issue and refuse to look at others. The Honorable Member from Ngewa mentions about agriculture, that there is money set aside amounting to 50 million. That money has got other operations and other activities to be
No.
dealt with.
If you read here, it is written purchase of motor vehicles, 15 million.
If it is for motor vehicles,
it is for motor vehicles.
They are the extension officers who are to use those vehicles. The issue of mentioning that the vehicles will be used for firefighting and for ambulance services, this you have to imagine a vehicle being bought to be used by officers, being used as a firefighting machine. It doesn't have the machines. So this all propaganda is being made so that the mwananchi thinks negatively about the vehicles. When you buy the vehicle and the vehicle is being used by officers, you don't start arguing and saying that it's used for firefighting or for ambulance services. Ambulances are there. For example, in my ward, there is an ambulance that came a few days ago. So that argument holds no water. It's neither here nor there.
But you see, when you listen to Mheshimiwa here talking, and yet I have the document that he passed himself, they see the functions of these vehicles are revenue collection. And when they talk about revenue collection, who collects revenue? There are those people who stand at the parking docks, there are those who stand at the market. They do not need vehicles to collect revenue. And again, we give them about 98 million for ICT or digitization of collection of revenue. So why do we digitize this? Where people use card, and you are going again to analog ways of collecting revenue using these vehicles. They are talking about these vehicles are going to be used for Biashara Fund extension services. This Biashara Fund, they have never given the people of Kiambu because, and we passed it almost 2 years ago, the same vehicles are going to be used veterinary extension services. And remember, this is department does not deal with agriculture. They also said health emergency services. What does that mean? That's an ambulance. It's an emergency car. So saying that you're buying this car to do all this work, security, fire, and all that, I'm for sure it's not propaganda. This is what the governor himself, and I can be quoted, was telling people that these vehicles will be coming for you to help you in these in all these issues. And again, when he talks about security, he was saying himself that security, you call police station and you find they have no fuel, so we'll give them our car. So if they do not have fuel, do you buy another car or you buy them fuel? So it is misplaced priorities. That is the whole idea.
You know, the Department on Agriculture doesn't mean, or the Department of Veterinary Services, doesn't mean that that department should only have veterinary equipped vehicles. These are administrative vehicles. The departments require administrative vehicles, be they agriculture departments, or even the firefighting department. They require administrative vehicles, and that's why we have one per ward to administer all those departments, to coordinate all those departments. You don't require to have a veterinary to use the vehicle that is being bought for the ward administrator, but there is the coordination, the issue of revenue collection. Even though we are digitized and we are using all sorts of digitization, that doesn't mean that there is revenue that is the revenue will be collected all over using the digital method. You require to have revenue officers move around and try to talk to the people, because obviously you understand what is happening even in the all county governments, that people are not willing even to pay this revenue. You require people to move around and talk to the people, tell them the importance of
revenue. The problem is that
revenue.
these vehicles are for only one department, as
No, the vehicles are not for one department.
It's one
if you read the County Government Act, it provides for the provision of the structures of the devolved units. And in the devolved units, you have the ward administrator, the persons who are supposed to coordinate all functions of the county government. So if the ward administrator is the one coordinating all those functions, from health, agriculture, transport, and all that, that vehicle is supposed to assist the ward administrator to coordinate all those departments.
But it is one.
Hold that thought. We have to take a short break, but once we come back, we will have more of this discussion. Dangwa, we have seen governments realizing that buying cars is very expensive. They're opting to leasing cars, like the Ministry of Interior has done to police cars. Have you tried to advise the county government on the same?
Of course, that is actually the way to go, because believe you me, you have to cut costs by all means, because we need to bring development, but we don't want to be the county that buys and buys and buys, such that probably the next governments are the ones that are going to do development. So that's why we are saying that when you buy these vehicles, you have misplaced priorities. I wish the county government would do that. I wish the county government would borrow from the national government and do the leasing of these vehicles, because I believe there are people out there who would want to partner with the government, and the constitution and all the laws allow the PPPs, public-private partnership, so that we can also create job opportunities. So that is the way to go. And when Mheshimiwa says that these vehicles are for coordinating, so you mean you need a car to coordinate the arrival of another? Because you see, if it is called veterinary extension services, it's coming to coordinate now for the big car to come. You see, we are not getting it right. And there's something I want the people out there to understand. These vehicles, we are told, they are going to be used by the ward administrators. Who is a ward administrator? A ward administrator is the person who represents the executive at the ward level. Some wards, you can cut across walking, because they are very small. I can give you an example of Kabete, Odero, and some other wards. They are very small geographically. That means you don't need a car. But again, these people are based at the ward level. If you look at the MCA himself also is based at the ward level. So you can imagine the MCA was not given any car. The car was not bought by anyone. What happened is the MCA was given a loan so that you can buy the car and then you repay. So this ward administrator, why don't we go with the same thing? They are entitled to 10 million Kenyan shillings of loan. Why not them? If they love this county that much, the county says, we'll give you this loan, buy your car, you return, and it's going to be yours forever. But the issue here, they are buying cars, and if you look at all those counties that are purchasing, because they want kickbacks. They want to get something from those things they are purchasing. If they purchase one vehicle, and that's why they are doing it in lump sum, because they want to make a lot of money from those things. And that's why we are inviting the anti-corruption to come and investigate the Kiambu purchase of those vehicles, because we hear they were even purchased before we passed the law on Monday. So what we are saying is we are not opposing the purchase of vehicles today, and we are not opposing what the county government is doing today. We are only opposing the way it's doing things. So I believe if they can lease the vehicles, we have given them ideas. When they come to committees, it's only that it's very hard for the county government to take these ideas and advices from MCAs, because of course they have little respect for that. Everything you say, they say it's politics. Everything you say, they say you want another seat. Everything you say. So that's the only problem that we are suffering. People are not listening to the others.
I think before I get to that, I think we are in agreement with the member for Ngewa that we need the cars. He gives the proposal that the vehicles can also be leased. He says that there is no problem, but he says the problem is the way the vehicles are being bought. So he agrees with us that we really need vehicles. That is one thing that we should note, that we have inadequacy in terms of coordination and mobility of our workforce and our officers moving around, so that they are able to do their functions. Talk of 2 or 3 wards. Talk of all the wards in Lari sub-county. They are so vast wards. In Nyanduma ward, where I represent, we have officers who should be traveling from Lari, others from Kiambu or from Thika. The departments themselves, leave alone the department on public administration, the departments themselves have inadequate vehicles to be able to coordinate the officers. So the issue of saying that the wards are big or small, in fact, some wards will require to be assisted by even those wards that have small areas, so that we are able to coordinate and to move fast. The issue of saying that we really need roads and as if we will die for the roads, I think is also misplaced, because the agitation of some of the members is about re-election. It's not about really Wanchiko. It's about those, they feel that if they don't do the roads, they might not be re-elected. And like my brother Karongo, who seems to be wanting to vie for a bigger position. And now he's going.
At least he can think that I can take a bigger seat.
Yes.
But
and as you say so, there's a feeling also that you've been quote unquote, bought by the executive, so that you can be passing bills in the county assembly that favor the agenda of the executive.
Let me ask you, when you have members of parliament, for example, in the National Assembly, when you hear them fighting against the president,
yes.
and we are all in Jubilee, you hear the members of TNA fighting the president, and you feel as the public that these members of parliament who belong to Jubilee should be working with the government. When we are working with the government, we are being bought. But when we fight against the government, people start crying and telling us, you shouldn't be fighting, you should be working. Now, this working is turning out to be bought. And I challenge even the people who I represent, that they are the ones who have been calling upon us because of the infightings that have been happening in Kiambu. You need to work. You don't need to keep on shouting and moving around and fighting anything. You need to work. So the issue of saying that members are being bought, I think that one is also misplaced.
I don't like it at all when everyone, and especially those who are supporting the purchase of 72 vehicles, compare Kiambu government with Uhuru's government. You cannot compare the two. Uhuru is listening to what Mwananchi is saying. But on the other side, the Kiambu County, they're not listening to what Mwananchi is saying. Because it could only be, I don't know, somebody who does not hear, does not have eyes, does not have ears,
I think
cannot see what Wanjiku is doing in the street. They're demonstrating almost every other day.
Yes.
They are on Facebook every other time. So whenever you say that you're passing this because you're in the government, which government? Kiambu County Government is on its own. So we have to pass the laws. Do not compare yourself with the national government.
To challenge that, go and tell the opposition in the national government that Uhuru is listening.
First of all, we do not have opposition in Kiambu.
No,
we only have
go
four members from other parties. So this is not about opposition.
Go and tell the members of ODM or COD that Uhuru is listening. It's about knowing your priorities as the government.
And you got your priorities
and
wrong.
We got our priorities right.
Let's not digress.
Yes.
Dangwa, if at all these people must buy cars,
yes.
How many cars can you and MCAs thinking like you, would you propose that they buy instead of the 72 cars?
You know, we had actually passed this budget before. They had asked for 280 million.
Yes.
And we said, okay, let's take about 240 to the roads.
Yes.
So that we give you about 48 million for vehicles. And that's what we had unanimously, or most of us at the assembly.
Yes.
But when you took it to the governor said no. He wrote a memorandum and brought it back for us now to pass the whole fleet of 72 vehicles. So for me, we had given them some money. And I agree we need vehicles.
Yes.
Because I also have one.
Yes.
And I need to access.
Yes.
But the question is priority. Because even if when I bought my first car, I bought a small one as you go along.
Yes.
So even for the Kiambu County to buy a car that is about 6 million, a fuel guzzler, then that's somebody who is not thinking of Wanjiku, because buy cars, buy Probox, it's about 600,000.
Yes.
That extension officer or that ward administrator who is around the ward, the car is not even moving out of the ward, need that small vehicle so that they can also ask, make these roads so that my vehicle does not spoil all the time.
Yes.
But they're buying bigger vehicles because there's no vision for making roads. They're buying bigger vehicles because if you look at the budget, and I have it here, the one that we are passing for the year 2015-2016, the same county government, the same department that we have bought 72 vehicles, they're asking for another 120 million for vehicles. And I know Mheshimiwa will support that. And there is, if you look at the whole budget, they're asking for 297 million Kenyan shillings to buy vehicles only. So if at all they were buying these vehicles for other departments, then why are we lying to people, telling them that they are for all departments? Yes, in the coming budget, you want another 287 million to buy vehicles.
Does
the executive anticipate to buy more cars? Or
I'm on record.
Yes.
I'm on record. And I remember when there's a time we had a meeting with the governor. I'm on record telling him that there is a proposal for 120 million for purchase of vehicles in the same department. And listen to me. Yes. I told the governor that since there is that proposal, we need to reverse or to propose that money to be diverted to another project.
Yes.
that was when before we supported the motion or the memorandum of the governor. My support for that memorandum was that because we are about to go to the next financial year, if we engage this money for road construction, it might not be committed. It might not happen because you require the procurement process and all that. But the 120 million, I'm on record telling the governor, this money we need to, I will not support that money to go to the same department. I will support that money is taken to another department, for example, roads and so. So that one I have noted that, and I noted that.
It is very sad, even to know that Mheshimiwa knew that. Because if he knew, he could advise the governor, let's first of all make roads. Then the next budget that is coming within the next 2 months will buy you cars. Rather than buying cars. Because if you make roads,
you can't make roads with
if you make roads
within 1 month or 2 months.
You know, the roads will be made once they are committed. Because if you make roads now, like in my ward, and I can tell you this as a fact, and Mheshimiwa knows that, we passed the budget for roads in June last year.
Yes.
We passed every ward 8 million. And when we did that 8 million, they bring supplementary, they wanted us to reduce that. Up to today, since June last year, to only a few days to June, in my ward, they have not done any road. They started making those roads after the passage of these vehicles. And they started in those wards for those who supported the 72 vehicles. So I believe my ward will be even last one. Hayes, I know they are making it now. I can tell you this one for sure. I'm even really disappointed. Because those actually who supported the purchase of these 72 vehicles, their wards have worse road than ours. So actually, sometimes I even say if I had money, I would give their wards more than that. So what we're saying is that they lacked priority, and that's the whole idea.
I want to get to that. The roads that are being made right now, there's no road that is being constructed in Nyanduma ward. We were supposed to have a road from Kagwe town to Mongere, Nyanduma town. But that road has not started yet. Unlike Karongo, who is, or even as he says.
Do you know when it's going to start?
I'm pushing so that the road starts to be constructed.
He'll be rewarded.
The issue of tethering had a problem because the contractors had overvalued the cost of construction. But that doesn't mean that the road will not be constructed. That now takes us to tell us that we have money already set for roads. It doesn't mean that because vehicles are being bought, that the roads will not be constructed.
But we reduce
there is money that has been set for construction of roads. The issue that he had mentioned about the administrators use proboxes. Recently, he was using a very low vehicle, and he is using a very big vehicle right now. When he tells us, he is using a Prado. Fuel gasra, Land Cruiser, or something of the sort.
But I bought it.
A black vehicle for politicians.
Yes.
But now,
but I bought it. The county didn't.
Yeah, you did buy it. You didn't consider Wanjiko at Ngewa first for the child who is not going to school that you could sponsor to school.
Let's not digress.
Yes.
The issues come to issues of procurement. Like you have hinted about the roads in your ward. When we are buying these 72 cars, as MCAs, your job is to do oversight. Have you tried to know where the government is going to source the cars from whom, and maybe is the costing all right?
Now, when you do the budget, for example, we'll be doing budget. In fact, we have come from a place where we are gathering as members, and we are proposing budget for the next financial year. When you do the budget, you give the government opportunity to engage those who are supposed to be selling the vehicles and all that. So that will follow. And we have a public accounts committee that deals with that. We are expecting that they will follow up on that. So I'll not get into that because that one is the committee on public accounts. They will deal with that.
Yes,
no, but the memorandum was saying that the governor has started a procurement process. How can you start a procurement process yet you do not have the money? Why did he start the procurement process for roads? That's why I'm not understanding when somebody says that if you do not pass this money, it will go back to the treasury. It's a lie. It's only that whatever they were told, that if you pass these things will start happening. It's only, we took some money from the roads. So if we were to make 4 to 5 kilometers per ward, now we are going to make about 1 or 2 because we took a chunk of money. And the other reason, and we are asking ourselves, why haven't we made any roads since July last year when we passed the budget. Why do we have to wait till the end of the financial year? It is so that you can confuse the likes of Mheshimiwa, who will think that the money will disappear, so that they can pass the budget very fast and say we saved the county from the money. Because if they had a heart for the people that we represent, they could have started the procurement processes, the LPUs for those who are the contractors, and all of them, so that they can start making these roads. So I do not understand when somebody says that the roads are now starting. And why are they starting to those who just supported these vehicles? Because they are used for political reasons.
I'll come to that issue again. The roads are being done. And
How many kilometers?
I can tell you
how much
for sure
road? It's
not the loads that are for the members who supported the issue of the memorandum.
Yes.
If you go, I saw today, in fact, on Facebook, and I saw the honorable member for Komodai who was opposing on top of a grader. Inspecting,
but you don't.
roads,
is it the county? Is it
yes,
the county?
Yes,
sure?
he says so. He says so. He mentioned so in Facebook on Facebook that on Komodai on the move and all that to do with the construction of roads. So the issue of procurement is another issue, but money is collected and dispersed to county by the national government, and there is that little money that we collect as the county government. Even though we'll budget for that money right now as the county assembly, right now, that money is not there, kept so that we pick and take it to start what we have budgeted for. Money will start trickling down slowly by slowly. You have seen that in papers. You have seen Commission for Revenue Allocation stating how they have dispersed money to the county. Sometimes money delay even to be released from the national government from the Treasury national government to the Treasury county government. Money trickle even to the last day of the financial year. So those are issues that if you go to it might be the national government,
because if you know how the money comes,
that
you
are
plan
responsible
towards
for bringing money to the county government. Go to the Commission for Revenue Allocation and the commissions that deal with oversighting the county's performance in terms of revenue. You realize that even then they are saying that money should be sent to the counties in time so that the counties are able to operate.
Do you say that that is the reason as to why Senator Matangi on Tuesday opposed all other senators when they were attacking members of parliament who were saying that government should be really accountable about what they are doing? Because they were saying in Kiambu County, the health facilities are not in good condition. Do you concur with him?
I would say that the health facilities are not in good condition. In fact, we have really improved. I give an example of where I come from. Come to Karatina, come to Kagwe. People are happy that there is medicine now. Health provision has improved in the county. Go to Kagwe dispensary or go to Karatina dispensary, where I come from.
The senator was saying that in those dispensaries, the medicine is there, but only Panadol is found on the shelves.
No, that's just propaganda. How can you say it's Panadol?
But
let
me tell you.
A common Mwananchi can just...
Let me tell you.
When they go on the shelves, they will see there is medicine. They bring one person.
The question is, let us not get so romantic about these issues that we have a very small dispensary in your ward that has some medicine. This is just for headaches. They have no wards. They don't do maternity. They don't just do that.
Don't call.
It is just for little
don't
woods.
Don't call dispensaries in Kagwe small.
And let me tell you, and that's why we get it wrong.
Yes. They're important.
They're very important, yes. And I love them, and that's why I'm fighting for them. And that's what I'm saying. Instead of doing those priorities that are not helping, we go to those priorities of equipping the hospitals. Because it is very wrong for you to be taken by an ambulance in his ward. He has an ambulance and he has that dispensary. And I'm telling you, that ambulance cannot take somebody from his ward and take to that dispensary. It will have to take you way far to the bigger hospital. So I agree with the senator when he says in Kiambu, we are lacking the equipment, we are lacking the facilities, we are lacking the medicine when it comes to giving the people of Kiambu the health that is needed. So, Mheshimiwa, having a dispensary that has only a few bottles of... Because I was doing mapping for my ward. I have 3 health centers. That is 1 health center and 2 dispensaries. And when I went there, I am only shown 1 shelf. And I'm asking them, what is this for? But I tell them, somebody is donating about 25,000. If I give you 25,000 now, what would you buy? They say they don't have kits for testing blood sugar. Yet you understand in the village, people are suffering from blood sugar. They just need to be tested so that they can take care of that. They don't have those issues. They don't have bandages for small wounds and all that. They don't have the clinical or the spirits that is required. It's only some tablets, and you can only know what those tablets are once you go there and you seek.
Yes.
So let's not get romantic about, I have a dispensary in my ward, I have a dispensary 5 meters, yet it has nothing. It's better to walk to hospital and get medicine than to be driven there by these vehicles and get no medicine. You will actually die.
I think
Another issue.
The way the member is arguing
Yes.
is that we don't require these services closer to the people because
we need them equipped.
These dispensaries have been there. They have been there during the previous dispensation.
Yes.
Before the new constitution,
Yes.
before the devolved system of government. And we are 2 years in the devolved system of government.
But that is no justification
remember
to
the health
people services.
Remember the health sector, or as a devolved function,
Yes.
was one that the national government was refusing to release to the county government. And even then, when it was in the national government, it was not performing as it is doing now. We are gradually graduating to the level that he wants us to, but we should take time. We should understand that even the county councils had no capacities, and even the national government, health department, had no capacity. But I'm glad that the county government has been able to even employ and get staffs who are a bit qualified, even to those health centers. I can tell you, and I'm proud of those clinics. I'm proud because people in my ward are not going all the way to his constituency at Kidongori for checkups at Kidongori dispensary.
Do you know the workers there?
They are coming at Kagwe. Right now at Kagwe dispensary, we have a clinical officer. Earlier on, we didn't have. If we were still in that dispensation,
do you know
we
the
will
workers,
not be having a clinical officer.
The workers have not been paid for the last 2 years in those dispensaries. The watchman has not been paid. The woman in that small dispensary, that is my ward. And I can tell you, that is my ward. If you go there, you'll find a woman who is doubling as a clerk, doubling as a cleaner, doing so many things. She has not been paid. Those are 2 dispensaries. So that's why it's very painful when you hear that you have a dispensary just for the name of it, just to be telling people in your village, I told the governor to build this for you, yet you do not pay the people who work there.
There's something that you're asking me, and it's good that you ask, but I will advise the member for Ngewa to liaise with the Ministry of Health. If they have not been paid,
let me tell you, I used to be a member of the Committee for Health, and I used to raise these issues every other minute. But as I told you, the government is just playing politics. If you do not go to bed with them, they do not give you what you ask for, chap. So, but I'm saying, the Constitution says...
These are county employees. They are not,
can you imagine?
They don't
get... Time is not on our side, but finally I would want to get this straight from Dangwa.
Right.
Because there are sentiments, even on social media, that you're opposing what you feel is not suiting your own self-interest.
Right.
What do you have to say about
Oh my, I don't think that is true, and I know where the issue is coming from. But what I can say is that for me, before I do anything, I consult a lot. I use Article 196 of the Constitution. Before I do anything, I go to my ward and I ask them, this is what we are doing. What do you think about this? And I don't just oppose. It is just that my voice is way too loud, that I'm hard when I'm only opposing. There's some issues that I support in the county government. So when somebody says that I just oppose what does not favor me, I mean, it is not really going in line with what I believe in. Those are just people who want to fight me politically so that they can bring me down. But I tell them, I am going to stand for Njiko no matter what. You bring all scandals, bring everything that you have. But what I believe in will always be standing by that. And Kiambu people know that. So it is not a matter of whether it is going to favor me or not to favor me. What favors the people I represent, that is what I'll stand for.
Well said, guys, and thank you, Mburu, for coming, and Dango for coming to this show. And thank you, viewer, for keeping it GBS. This has been Insight coming to you on GBS TV. I've been your host, John Maura. Good night.